In this video, I'm going to teach you how to work with the families that come out of the box in Revit, which basically means that they come with Revit when you download it. And so we're going to begin by creating a design plan, and then I'm going to show you where you can find these families. And then we're going to place and modify them, and then edit and reload them. But before we begin, I thought it might be helpful for me to just teach you another little trick first. Sometime you might open your Revit document and see, a view that that looks like this, and you're missing the property tab and the project browser over here. Sometimes Revit just does this. So before you get concerned, it's a very quick fix. All you do is hit View, and then go to user interface, and then select the project browser and the properties browser. And then that'll restore it to look how you want it. Now you can see my little tabs are missing here, and Revit also does that a little bit too once in a while. So I'm gonna just click this. And you just, if it doesn't change to that, just click through it and it'll cycle through several different views, and then your screen will look how you're used to it looking. Okay, so what we're going to do first is create a design plan. Now, a design plan is something that is created specifically by interior designers for the sheet in the sheet set that's related to design. And the reason why we want to have a separate design plan is because we're going to have furniture and some finishes on this, and we don't want that information to cloud or be clouded by any of the other information in the drawing. So there's going to be so many notes and tags and things like that at the end of the day that we really just don't want the sheet to just have too much information. So we're going to start by creating level 2 because that's where all of our action is. And I'm going to start by right-clicking here where it says level 2, and I'm going to hit duplicate view. Now, before I hit duplicate, you can see I've got a couple of different options. We are going to actually hit duplicate, but I'm going to explain what these mean too. Duplicate means that you're doing a save as version of the view that you're seeing. That's going to allow us to change the things that we see on this view. Now, it's all the same project, and we can turn things on and off with our visibility windows, but they're going to function as independent views. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. Duplicate with detailing means that it's the same as the first option, duplicate, except when we put in detail lines that we might use for placeholders or for some simple drafting or line work, those will come into the duplicated view also. Most of the time, detail lines are view specific, and model lines are, you can see in all the views, which again, we'll get into that a little bit later. But that's duplicate with detailing. And then duplicate as dependent basically means that you've duplicated a view, and the two views are just parallel twins for the rest of their life. And they do it. If you do it to one, you'll do it. It'll show up on the other view as well. So let me show you what I mean here real quick. It'll make a little bit more sense when you see it. So I'm going to go to duplicate view and duplicate. Now you'll know you did it right because you'll see level 2, copy 1, and we're going to rename this design level 2 design plan. And it's important to rename these because this is what you're going to see under the drawing when you drag it onto a sheet. So level 2 design plan. Okay, now level 2 and the level 2 design plan right now look the same. So what I'm going to do is show you on level 2 design plan, I'm going to place a chair. So I'm going to go to architecture, component, place a component, load family, and then yours might not look like this. Your window will probably look like this. And remember, this is where we found our doors and our windows. And this is where all the families in Revit exist. But we're going to go ahead to the furniture one. And we've got all different kinds of categories of furniture. We're going to go to seating, and we're going to place the classic, modern classic Corbusier. Grand Confort. That's the name of that chair. Okay, so I'm going to click it right here. Now look, see what happens. So if I go to level 2, it's not going to, oh, the chair's there. Okay, so now they are still running as parallel twins. but I want to make sure that the level 2 plan just has like architectural information and notations. I don't want the furniture to show on the level 2 plan here. Okay, what I want it to do is just have, like I said, these notations and things like that. So you could do this one of two ways. You can either right click, hide in view, and hide the category, which means furniture will not show up on this plan, but you can still see it and unhide it as we've done with other objects by revealing the hidden elements. Or you can do it like this. You can hit VV, and this also brings up your visibility. This is the things that you can show on this plan. And I'm going to turn off the furniture layer. You can also turn things on halftone, which we'll do a little bit later. But for right now, we're going to just turn it off, hit apply, and OK. So now, look what happens. If I go and if I place a component, see my chair is still loaded. Notice I'm on the level 2 plan, and I'm going to place this chair and you won't be able to see it. See? It says they're not visible here. They've been turned off. So I can right click here, and there's the chairs that are hiding. Okay. Now on the design plan, they'll both be there because I want my chairs to show up on my plan. Okay. So we've got our level 2 design plan, and I'm going to change this to level 2 floor plan so that we can distinguish them. Okay. So now I've got my chairs, and I'm going to just delete this one because we only need one right now. And I'm going to create a floor plan for you all, very, very simple one in here for you to manipulate. But for right now, we're just going to place a couple other pieces of furniture. Now, as I hit component, place component, and load family, it's going to, let's see, we'll put the Breuer chair, another classic. Okay. Now, as you hit load, now those pieces are going to be loaded into your project. So if I go to component and I'll place another one, I can load them here if I want to bring in new ones, or if I want other ones, I can just drop this down in here. Now I've loaded lots of different furniture in my Revit life here. So you can see I've got a desk loaded, which I can pop in and place right here. I have a couple different ones. Okay. And there's a desk right there. Now, if you want to bring in all these things, you can hit load, and you can go up and bring tables, everything. They're all in here. Okay. I'm going to put in right now this round table right there. Okay. Now, sometimes Revit will, when you hit place a component and you hit load family, even if you pick something here, sometimes Revit will still get stuck with the original piece of furniture or the last piece of furniture. It just gets stuck with something, and even if I hit, let's say, ellipse, it'll still say the other table in here, and it like will not overwrite, will not change it. And so when that happens, all you have to do is just drop down and pick the piece of furniture that you want it to use. Okay, so hopefully you never encounter that, but it's pretty common. I encounter it after I've made Revit work for a long time, so it just gets a little bit confused. Okay, so we've got a couple pieces of furniture here. You have already created a basic design plan, very, very basic, and by that I mean you've duplicated a plan. You know where to find the Revit families to draw and place. And now what I want to do is just to teach you how to modify. Now, when I say modify, I mean modify like spatially modify, not actually change the shape of the furniture. We'll do that in a second. But let's say I just want to move these things. And this works just like CAD. Look, I click on this and see all the modify commands here. So I can move, and I can just grab a base point and move it up here. Okay. I can copy it. I can grab that, copy, and if I want to copy it multiple times, I can just grab it and I can copy it a bunch of times. I can rotate it by just selecting it, and I click, and I can either tell Revit I want to rotate it 45 degrees, or I can rotate it myself with my mouse. These have to do with extending, walls and things like that. I can't offset a piece of furniture. We've already used the align tool, but I can mirror it. So if I want to go ahead and mirror it, I can either pick the axis by clicking this, and maybe this is the mirror line I want to mirror it, and see it'll mirror it. Or I'm going to hit undo. I can draw the axis. And it doesn't have to be a straight line. Okay, so those are our modify tools. So we can place and modify. The last thing I want to teach you is how to edit these families. Now, I'm going to start first by editing this table. Now, if I click on this and I hit edit type, this is a 36-inch wide table, and you can see its radius is 1'6". Now that's a pretty big table for a side, if we want it for a side table. If I want to have this table be a little bit smaller, maybe I want it to be half the size, I can make Revit out of the box families any size I want, but I still want to keep that 36-inch table. So I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to call this an 18-inch diameter table. Hit OK. And I'm going to change the radius from 1'6" to 9. And I hit OK. And see, now it's itty bitty. Well, not itty bitty, it's 18 inches. Okay, so now look, I can still place a component, and I might have, yeah, see, look, I've got a couple different versions of that table I can choose from. So there's the 36-inch diameter one. So just remember, if you do want to do changes to your size, just make sure you duplicate, because otherwise this will stay labeled as a 36-inch wide table, but of course that's not the correct size. If I want to click on this chair, it doesn't look like it's got many options, but I want to show you something neat. I want you to, you can do this two different ways, but if you double click on that chair, it'll open up the family. And so this is just another view. If I hit WT now, I'll see all the views. But this is just kind of, this is sort of the edit window of this particular chair, or pardon me, of this particular family. So let's say I want to do something crazy, like I want to delete this seat. Okay, now I've deleted that seat, and now I'm going to load it into the project. Now it's asking me, do you want to overwrite the existing version? I'm going to say yes. Okay, what happened to it? Uh-oh. Okay, load into project. Oh, okay. I guess I moved the other chair. All right, so now look at how it looks in 3D view. Let me hide this. See, look, it doesn't have its seat anymore. So I have now fundamentally altered that family. Now, if I wanted a Breuer chair, that's the name of this chair. If I wanted a Breuer chair, one version with a seat and one version without the seat, I would again do a edit type and then a duplicate, okay? Because I do really want that chair. But notice, see, view one, that's of the family. So I can close that. Do I want to save changes? No, I don't, because that chair needs a seat. But that allows you to edit the properties of a chair within Revit and then reload it and overwrite the parameters. So I'm going to undo, and so you can see my chair has a seat on it again. Okay, notice it didn't change the floor plan itself. But look, I can look at it in plan view. See, there's a chair in plan view. So I can delete it in plan view. I can change the size of this if I really want to tinker, make it a long seat. And then once I'm done, I load into project and we'll make those changes. Just be careful with these because this will change it everywhere. So you want to be really deliberate and make sure you duplicate and rename and name with purpose as you alter your families, because you don't want it to just be chair 1, chair 2, chair 3, because then they're not useful down the road. You want to relabel things like, broiler chair, no arms, broiler chair, red seat, for example. And then we'll go into changing upholstery and things like that in a little bit. But for right now, that's how you create your design plan, locate the furniture, and place and modify, edit and reload the family. So we're going to close that right now. And you're welcome to have a little fun playing with your furniture arrangements for this. And then we'll get a final furniture layout so that this is a working office plan. Okay?